and welcome to the Q Today show for April 6th to April 10th. I'm Allison Duddy, one of your hosts for this show.
And I'm Nate Bello. I'm sitting in for Mitch Vick, who's away for a few days.
I noticed that you're wearing your daffodil pin today, Nate. You challenged me on the last show to wear mine, so we're...
That's right, and you came in to one-up me by having it with me not having it. And yet what I did was I saw them and I got two just in case you forgot yours.
I know, and I feel bad. I'm sorry.
Okay, that's your competitive curly nature coming out, Allison.
I think it was. I was kind of secretly, not so secretly now, hoping that maybe you would forget to wear yours so I could razz you about it.
I like it. I did an interview last year with them when they came out with us because we were one of the first piloting communities.
I remember that, yeah. Well, it looks good on you anyways.
Yes, and we got to wear it till Daffodil Day, which is April 27th.
Very good.
Okay.
So we'd just like to thank you for watching our program and remind you that our weekday show runs from Tuesday at 5 p.m. until Friday at 8 a.m. and our weekend show from Friday at 5 p.m. until Tuesday at 8 a.m. And we broadcast every day at 8 a.m., 5 p.m., and 10 p.m.
And you could email us at qtoday@qcatv.ca. And of course, thanks to the Observer, that's where we get the bulk of our stories. Those guys are great to work with. And but if you have some story that you want to get out, just contact us at my home, Nate Bello, 992-3650, or call our ace staffer here, John McKenzie, 992-8363 at the station.
Great, thanks, Nate. Now remember, we do just give the highlights here on Q Today, so if you do want to read the full story, pick up your copy of the Caribou Observer. And Nate, you're going to get us started with some news.
Okay, we're going to talk about taxes, okay? And before I get into what happened at City Hall, apparently residents can expect a tax increase, and before everybody boos, you know, what it really bugs me, taxes are just collective spending. We have individuals spending, and we have collective spending. So taxes aren't bad. It's just a matter of a balance between individual and what we do as a group. So when you think about taxes, just don't think bad. Think, okay, let's see. And what council has done here is telling the average homeowner that they're looking at a 3.3% tax increase. That's what they were in that neighborhood in their deliberations, and that's what they've come down with. And that means that you are going to pay an increase of $20.71 if your house is worth $161,000. Okay, now if you're, and it has to do with your value of the house over last year, whether you're going to pay more than that $20 or less than that $20, whether it's gone up and down. But as a rule, just as a guideline, $20 is what you pay in increased taxation, which isn't that much. So anyway, Budget 2012 will get its first three readings on April the 23rd, and it's by provincial law. You have to finish it by May 15th. Let's just talk a little bit about some of the things that you're going to be seeing. And here again, don't forget, it's group spending. So you may not use the ladies' washroom at the Public Works yard, but I doubt if very many people would say, don't fix up the Public Works yard just because I don't use it, and that's $40,000. Other things that we're seeing is McLean Street parking lot storm line, $27,500. I think they've already started working. I went by there today. Anderson Drive overlay paving for $235,000. We got some trail overlay, which is great because the Riverfront Trail has kind of been getting more and more bumpy in the last few years. Yep. $15,000. Garbage containers, $9,800 because mine broke last year and they just replaced it. So you got to get it from somewhere. Other road paving is $350,000. Elliott Street rebuild, $950,000. That's a big one, but the whole street's falling apart. And under the reinvestment plan that they have, they've got to work on the worst streets, and that's one of the worst streets. And as well, Rada Street's pretty bad, and they're putting in $234,000 into that. New crane truck for $10,000. And the last one is water service lines at Elliott and Early for $11,900. So the capital works projects this year are going to be in the neighborhood of $1.8 million, which is pretty good reinvestment into our city. The other thing I want to mention is that the cleanup, you know, the annual cleanup.
Yep.
Okay, it's going to be April 16th to the 20th. As per usual, if there's things in the paper to tell you when your neighborhood is can expect the things to be picked up, and that's all the garbage stuff that you can't put in the regular garbage. You can't put your whole building lot. When I was mayor, somebody wanted to put all his old building materials as they build onto the front lawn. They don't pick that up. There's a limit to what they'll pick up. But a lot of that stuff that, you know, are in the backyard, tires or whatever, pieces of wood and stuff like that, this is a good time to get rid of it.
Good.
Some people have their old Christmas tree and finally getting rid of it. So that's what's happening in the city.
All right. Now I'm sure you'll keep us posted, or somebody, whoever we have co-hosting,
that's right. Well, I'll tell
will be
Mitch,
keeping us posted.
hopefully Mitch will be back next week.
Oh, great. Okay, good. So Autumn McDonald did a story in this week's Observer on ICBC's contribution of $22,000 for an advanced turn arrow and signal upgrades on Anderson Drive. The ICBC Road Improvement Program was launched in 1989 and has invested over $100 million in projects across BC, including $438,000 in projects in northern BC in 2011. The most recent evaluation of the program found that 2 years following a project's implementation, there's on average a 20% reduction in severe crashes and a 12% reduction in property damage crashes, which is pretty significant when you think about it. So definitely worth putting the money in ahead of time, you know, to not have to pay out that money down the road, especially with crashes and injuries and things like that. So Caribou-Chilcotin MLA Donna Barnett commented that safer roads make for fewer crashes and injuries in our community, which is always a good thing. All proposed road improvement projects are assessed based on their ability to make roads safer, and ICBC works in partnership with municipalities and the provincial government on delivering road enhancements. They also participate in engineering studies and assist communities with road safety issues in the planning of roadways and managing traffic. And if you would like to have a look at the evolution of ICBC's road improvement program, you can view it online, but I don't have the website, so you'll have to Google it.
Yes. People are
Sorry
pretty
about
good
that.
at Googling.
Oh, yeah.
So they could just, you know, in the old days you had to put www and you had to know the address.
It's so
now
easy
it's just,
now.
Oh, what do I want to know about?
Yeah.
You know,
I want to know how to get wax out of a cotton shirt.
And how do you get wax? And bang, something will
It's
come
right
up.
there.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It's crazy.
I'm going to now talk a little bit about the regional government, just quickly. Also taxes. Basically, they adopted their 5-year plan. I'm talking about the Caribou Regional District and the Caribou-Chilcotin Regional Hospital District. 2% maximum requisition increase for inflation is being approved. The CCRHD is also putting $30,000 for the North for a red carpet recruitment program. And what that is, you know, we need to get doctors and other health professionals to love the North Caribou. And so this is part of a campaign to lay out the red carpet. And I don't have any more details on that, but that's basically what's happening. And I'm sure that Northern Health is involved in it. Another thing, John Messier is Area C director. This is his second term, and he's going to go to Kamloops to talk about healthcare with MP Kathy McLeod regarding federal involvement. 2 issues: more sustainable and accountable healthcare system, and measuring and reporting performance across health systems. So good luck, John, and give him a call with your 2 cents so he can bring it down to Kamloops. That's at the end of the month that he's going to be going down.
Good. Great for that. Thanks for that, Nate. Now on to a different type of story. Bill Carter is head of the Quesnel chapter of the Spinal Cord Society, also a personal friend of mine, and he submitted an article that was in this week's Observer, letting the public know that the annual Walk and Wheel event is taking place on May the 5th. The purpose of the event is to raise money that goes directly towards spinal cord research and finding a cure for spinal cord injuries. And it starts at 10 a.m. at Seal Tingley Park, and of course everyone is invited to come and join the walk. So Bill also included in his article a reminder to those that are able-bodied, and I can relate to this also. People don't realize it just takes a matter of seconds for an injury to occur. And he also does add a bit of a warning to all able-bodied people just to be careful you know, in what you do and how you do it, and use your brain sometimes, because a lot of accidents, unfortunately, are preventable. Of course, some are not, but he also gets into talking a little bit about his life in a chair, and has a pretty strong view that people with spinal cord injuries need to be more vocal about finding a cure. And he also brings up a good point, asking, do we, referring to people with spinal cord injuries, want sympathy? And he answers his own question with a resounding no, and I would agree really strongly with that also. Anyway, it's a great article. I would encourage you all to read the whole thing, and also come down at 10 a.m. on May the 5th and walk and wheel with us to help find a cure for paralysis. Also, just a side note, if you want to help out in any way with the Spinal Cord Society, I know Bill does have pledge forms if you're interested in picking one of those up and trying to collect some donations for the walk. You can reach him at 992-5996 or 992-1505. So hopefully we'll get another great turnout. I think it's been getting better every year that I've been doing the walk and wheel.
Have
anyways.
you been doing it for a while?
I have been doing, I think I missed one. I had a wedding on the weekend that he had at one time, but I think I've made it to all of the ones since
How
then.
long has it been going? Do you have an idea?
You know what? That's a good question. I'm guessing that it's probably around 8, 9, 10, 10th annual, something like that.
really?
I'll find out from Bill and I'll let you know, because
Yeah, and you
good
know, it'd be, as you're talking, maybe it'd be a great idea to get Bill into the station, and we have a talk with Bill. And
I think that
if
would
you'd
be
like
fantastic.
to be, if you could be there too, and we'll have a little discussion.
I think that would be fantastic.
Okay.
We'll have to talk to Bill about that and see
Yeah.
if we can get him on one of these
Yeah,
shows
we can't.
coming up.
We can't commit him. All right, we'll see what happens.
Sounds good.
Okay, so next thing has to do with Olive Walsh. Olive was one of the first persons that I knew when I moved to Quesnel. She was a great photocopier lady at the school district. She really was able to fix photocopiers and go really quick for us dumb staffers, and known her for the last 25 years. And now she's a volunteer with the Canadian Cancer Society. And she put a little store, you know, she puts her column out, Cancer Clips, and she celebrated again Daffodil Month, April. But you know, one of the great things is about Olive is that she stays in touch with a lot of people, and she really tries to promote people and thank them for what they've done. And she thanked Trevor Gilbranson. Trevor is the president of the Cancer Society locally until June rather. And our fellow colleague here, who's taken a little hiatus from us,
Mr. Campbell,
Mr. Ron Campbell, has agreed that if he's needed, he's going to take over if they need to have a new president.
Good.
Also, Olive talked about the Relay for Life, and we really have to promote that, of course, every year. That's May 26th, and I guess they have these pins available at 37 locations, and also the Hike for Hospice is taking place, I think it's May 6th, the very beginning of May. We'll talk more about that. That is sponsored jointly by the Canadian Cancer Society locally and the Quesnel Palliative Care Association.
Right.
So, and finally, they're going to have a little volunteer lunch on April 11th, and I got a little chuckle out of it because it's a potluck. I mean, what else? The volunteers bring their own food. Okay. So thank you, Olive, for putting that in the paper.
Hey. All right, so Annie Gallant recently did an article on CHAPS, which is the Caribou Hoofbeats Assisted Activity Program Society. They are relocating their program from a small farm on Red Bluff Road to Pen Ebrin Farm, owned and operated by Paul and Terry Nichols, which is just 10 minutes south of the Sandman Inn. CHAPS chair Danielle Frothinger commented she's sad to see the program leave her farm, but excited about the move and the opportunity for continued growth. The article talks about how Frothinger started CHAPS in May of 2006 with Child Development Center clients and visits to Dunrobin Park Lodge with a few dogs. And from there, the program has expanded and experienced continuous growth, and moving to Pennybryn Farms just made sense, as the 70-acre farm was already a full-service equestrian center with accommodations for both 2-footed and 4-footed visitors. I like that. Terry Nichols actually first volunteered with the CHAPS program. She's now one of the program's main instructors, And so having the program at her farm was a great solution to their problem. She states in the article that she's looking forward to working and supporting the CHAPS program in many capacities with her husband Paul and daughters Jordan and Kirsten. You know, it was really easy for me to remember the names Jordan and Kirsten because I have two second cousins.
Jordan?
Actually, yeah, named
Kirsten.
Jordan and Kirsten.
Oh,
I
okay.
thought that's kind of strange.
Yeah.
In the same family. So anyways, the program can assist people from a diverse range of backgrounds, including intellectual disabilities, cognitive challenges, chronic mental illness, emotional difficulties, acquired brain injury, autism, developmental delay, cerebral palsy, and physical disabilities. Frothinger said, adding also that clients have the opportunity to forget pain, depression, frustrations and limitations when interacting with an animal. Now, in addition to existing infrastructure, CHAPS will have their own custom designed building with a boot and helmet room and library area, as well as a tack room with attached covered stalls. Joe Hart of Icon Homes, you might remember Joe Hart, Nate, he also volunteered considerable services to the recent renovations of the Quesnel Women's Resource Center. He's volunteering his services as project manager and will be constructing this building over 2 days at the end of April the 28th and 29th. He's also going to be orchestrating volunteer tradespeople and materials donations for the project. The transition to Penny Bryn Farm will be all complete before the opening of riding season at the beginning of May. And if you would like any more information on the CHAPS program or the services that they provide there, you can visit their website at chaps.ca. That's CHAAPS.ca. Great program.
You know what I really like about that program and programs like that? It's the ones that kind of get you from where you're at and you start out thinking about your difficulty in life, whatever it is, and move it on to something positive. And so you could kind of forget a little bit, you know, what your difficulty is.
Even just for a little while, it really does make all the difference.
You know, when I was principal at McNaughton Center, it was the same thing. If we got the kids thinking not about some of the problems that they had in life, but doing something really positive that was fun, they became different people almost.
Well, I went on their website actually this morning just to sort of check it out, and they have a great website. It's got actually pictures of the dogs and pictures of the horses that they use in their programs, so you can get to know a little bit about the animals. It goes through the programs, how they work, what type of opportunities are available, and it's skill building as well. You know, I mean, these youth and adults that participate in the program are able to transfer these skills into more real life type of situations also. So great website to check out. I would definitely recommend it.
Okay,
also,
that's great news for Quesnel.
Yeah. So also, Nate, I did notice that there was a story in this week's Observer on QMag, which is our production company, Quesnel Media Access Group. There was a little interview with yourself and Mitch Vick, and we always do sort of tag it at the end of our show and say that we're produced by QMag. Maybe our viewers don't really know what QMag is or what we're all about. I'm also a member. Maybe you would like to just sort of summarize that article and let us know a little bit about what QMag is all about.
Well, you know, the main thing is that a community has to talk to itself, has to have a place where they can come in and chat and think about issues and just have a dialogue. And so the people that are involved in QMag, and there's about 12 of us, we've been growing. We started with 3 or 4, you and me, and then we got a couple more people and a couple more. Now we're up to about 8 or 12 people now, and what our idea is to get out into the community, do the Q Today news show, but have interviews so we get people talking, but then eventually grow and grow so that accessible TV is a reality in Quesnel. And what I mean by that, it's TV shows that come from the people of our community on our local station. We've got a terrific relationship with Shaw, the internet service provider, ISP, that's what you call them. And in fact, they've done some nice things for us with new
logo,
and we're building
yeah.
up our set here and things like that. And we appreciate the services of John McKenzie, an employee of Shaw. So we've got that. We've also gotten into the internet world, and one of our persons, Susan McNeil, one of our members of our group, she's working on building up our website. So we're getting that. We're getting that. Really, the sky's the limit. You know, we always talk about getting sponsors, and so we're working on that too. I mean, this is not a money maker kind of a thing. What this is another effort to be of service to the community of Quesnel by letting them have a voice. And that's why when, you know, we say it all the time, hey, you have something to say? Come down and talk to us.
Yeah.
You know, we're gonna have an interview with Bert DeVink later on in the show.
Great.
And he's just one person. He's been doing the column for years. Hey, let him have a voice out there.
Yeah.
And we've done some other nice, great people too, and we've got things lined up. So QMag is a group that you may want to think of joining. Give us a call, and everybody's equal. It's a big democratic organization.
Very good. Well,
Okay.
thanks for that, Nate, because I also, I think I mentioned, I'm a member as well and see the value in you know, in having this. And so, yeah, I think it's good to just get the word out to the community, let them know what we do, and if you're interested, give Nate a call, 992-3650.
And we really appreciate Annie Gallant for writing that article.
Great.
And there we are in the picture paper. I'm not in the paper as much as.
Yeah, I guess that kind of goes with the territory.
Yeah.
But you're on TV lots, so
That's right. We like
that
TV.
makes up for it.
Yeah.
All right, so you're going to move us on into sports
Okay, let's
now.
get into sports now. And congratulations to Barry Campbell. 40 years, Barry. You deserve a rest. And you must have a very thick skin because you've been reffing in Quesnel for 40 years. And that was your goal, and you made it. You made it. I think it was Jonas Gagnon, our new sports editor, wrote a really nice story about your experiences in this 40 years. That's like from the 1970 or whatever. You hang up your striped jersey, and apparently you started when you were 15 years old in the late 60s, and you were a rat rink, an official rat rink, and in the same official rat hole that we have for arena right now, if I could say that. But you realized that as you got older, your aches and pains didn't disappear as fast. And so you decided, hey, it was time to look back at some of the memories, but maybe not do it on a regular basis. So he was thinking about some of his experiences, and these are all in the article. Someone brought a live chicken to the arena one time, and of course, who has to go and chase down a live chicken? The ref. Yeah, so he had to do that. He said it was quite comical. And then another time, a contact was falling out, and you know, nowadays there's these dailies and they fall out, and so what, who cares? I remember, you know, when basketball players would lose a contact or hockey players would lose I mean, they were a piece of glass in your eye, and if you lost them, they were $200. So you know, you just didn't let them go. So so apparently it was falling out of his eye. He caught it, and at the same time a fight broke out. And I don't have exactly the total details here, Barry, but I mean, the idea is that you gave it to a fellow ref, and he said, "What do I do with this?" He said, "Put it in your mouth," while they were trying to get these guys apart. And so then the fight ended, and he went to go get his contact, and the other ref had swallowed it.
Oh my gosh.
So anyway, he had some medical issues. It's written out, but you know, he said, "I'm going to get back there just for half a year or whatever to finish my 40 years." It was sort of a goal of mine, and now he has a little more time for his wife, kids, and grandkids. So congratulations, Barry Campbell. 40 years reffing, thick skin.
Yeah, I was going to say it would take an awfully thick skin to some of the old school Brews and Millionaires teams that we had and stuff. I can't imagine refereeing some of those games. So.
Hey, I umped a
Good
couple
for
of my
him.
kids softball, and I just, after two, I said, forget it.
Yeah.
Some of those parents, really, oh God.
I can just imagine.
Right.
So moving along in sports, it doesn't get much bigger than the Nationals. I can definitely relate to this story. We've got 7 hard-working girls from Quesnel who will be up there on the big stage representing the BC Northern Region in the Under-19 Ringette National Championship. They are going to be vying against 18 other, or pardon me, with 18 teams from all over the country in Burnaby next week. It's a bit of a struggle for the team in their preparations. I can sort of relate to this. Our curling team had a couple members from the north and a couple members from the Lower Mainland. So they too have had a hard time getting the team together for practices. They've got, I think, a couple of girls from the Houston and Terrace area. And even with switching practices between Quesnel and Prince George, they still have yet not been able to get the whole team together since the AA provincial championship. But despite this, Melinda Morehouse, who is a coach for the team, is confident that her team is just as good as any other team there and just as able to win, saying the girls have a lot of heart, and when they come together as a team, they really come together. So if you're interested in the tournament, you can follow the tournament on the National Ringette website, which is a long one, so we're just going to put that one on the bottom of the screen here for you. And all the stats and standings and schedules are on the site, and they will be updated in real time. And the finals will also be webcast at the same site. And I actually, if you don't want to use the great big website that we put down at the bottom of the screen, when I was on the computer this morning, I just Googled under 19 National Ringette, and it came right up to the Ringette Canada website, which is a little bit easier way to navigate to that site, I found. So good for them and good luck.
Yeah.
We'll definitely be rooting for them and keep you posted on what happens there next week in Burnaby.
Well, Melinda's been doing a great job for years and years. My little daughter was on the Ringette.
was
She
she?
really
I
enjoyed
know
it, and Melinda was there then. I don't know that's about 15 years ago, and she's there now.
Good
so
for her. You know,
good luck.
like our ref friend and Melinda. You know, if there weren't these kind of people, where would we be with sports in Quesnel? I think that's, you know, really, we always talk about what great athletes we have coming out of this town. And, you know, a part of it is the coaches and the refs and all the volunteers that put in their time to making these sports actually be able to happen in our community, too. So
that's right.
It's fantastic.
Yep. Okay, Serenity Nab's top spot. Okay, this is in the Forest League. What do you call the league? Sorry, I forgot the name of it. The Forestry Workers League, sort of.
Oh, I can't even remember.
Sorry about that,
I've drawn a
Steve.
blank. Yep, sorry.
Steve Dodge, paperback writer. You didn't name your league in this article, and I forgot, even though I should know. But anyway, Serenity nabbed the top spot. Great article. If you want to know the blow by blow, you could just read Steve's column. But the main thing that I got out of the column, the same thing that Ron Campbell got out of it, that we've got some great other heroes here. And these heroes are Rocket Launcher, Wizard, Egg Foo, Madness, Golden Glove, The Flash, Big Daddy, Soupy, Crash, The Wolf, The Mechanic, Slim, and Silent but Deadly. And, and they all fought their hardest in the end, the main thing, and Steve's a member of the team, but he's not biased. Serenity nabbed top spot and the Lumber Cup. So congratulations.
Thanks for that, Nate. I always have a hard time summing up his articles because I want to just read the whole thing word for word. They're so comical, and with his nicknames in there, they're fantastic.
Yeah.
So there also was a great picture in the sports section of this week's Observer of the Bantam Thunder team that won their provincials recently. They celebrated the arrival of the championship banner last week with some 4-on-4 hockey before they settled down for some pictures with their nice new banner that's going to be displayed in the Quesnel Twin Arenas. Sports reporter Jonas Gagnon said that the kids didn't have a lot to say, but the smiles on their faces spoke volumes. They all did agree, though, that the high point of the tournament was the comeback from a 5-1 deficit in their final game to win the tournament. So again, I know we've said it on the show, but congratulations again to the Bantam Thunder provincial champs.
Nice picture in the paper.
Yes, it was a good one.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, now it's time for our feature interview, the Nate in conversation with Bert DeVink. Bert has been writing in the paper for 25 years on and off. And so we got to the conversation, we got into a discussion of, hey, is it all worth it or what? And it started out, you know, like, oh God, why am I doing this, whatever. But really, as you listen, you'll see there's a reason, there's a method to Bert's madness, and he wouldn't do it any other way. So here's my interview a little bit earlier today with Bert DeVink. Okay, I'm here with Bert DeVink. Hi, Bert.
Hi, Nate.
we had a nice lunch, eh?
We sure did.
Yeah, over at the Caribou, and then we came here and did a little to have a continue our conversation.
Okay.
Okay, Bert. You know, I was reading the paper, and you have a column from time to time.
Yep.
And I read it, and I kind of felt a little angst, a little bit.
Angst?
Yes, because I felt sorry for you because, especially at the beginning of the column, it felt a little depressing. Like you were a little depressed.
I was.
Okay,
Yeah.
tell us about that a little bit.
Well, you know, it's been a harsh year, the last one, and then a long winter, and cabin fever, and the whole thing, and you know, sometimes things get to you, and it's too much happening, and but then I started to write, and then I started to think, hey, this is, well, maybe I should share that.
Yeah.
And then on the end, I smartened up.
Okay, so you didn't really want to tell people, but it's a common thing. People have the winter blahs. We want to get going. Spring is here right now. You did say something in there about how you write, and you've been writing for the Observer since the 80s.
Yeah.
And you wonder sometimes.
Yeah, I do, because for two reasons. You never see progress, as I said there, you know, like after all those years of 15 years of president of an environmental group, I look back, all I've got is some articles, and you know, all I have to do on the articles is change some names and some dates, and it would be valid today.
The same issues.
Yeah, you know, so you start thinking, what the hell am I doing this all for? You know, you start asking your questions, and
So basically the thing is apathy.
If you want to call it that, it's not very nice, Nate.
What would you call it? What would you? How do you?
Just, I was down.
Okay.
Down.
But you're not a down person.
No.
Okay. And the thing is, I would like to know why you keep doing it. What keeps you motivated to keep writing, to pound your head against the wall for 25 years? Because why do you keep doing it then?
That's a nasty question. I think because I love my family, I love my kids, I like people, you know, I've got a lot of friends in this area and all over the place. I don't know, it's part of it is my background too, I think.
Okay, let's talk about that a little bit. We have, you know, I think last year we talked a little bit about it, but let's a lot of what motivates a person is their experiences in their life.
Okay, that's a deep one. Well, I think in my life, the thing that hit me was 5 years of war. Being 7.5 years old, living through bombardments, being bombed out of Rotterdam, and the whole war story, the hunger, the fear, everything, you know?
Right.
You go through that, and then a couple of years after, everything has to be rebuilt. You were still on rations for a long time.
Rations?
Rations, sorry.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And then you start to finding out, I've been inquisitive by nature, and you start to find out that, hey, you know, why was Sweden neutral? Why was Switzerland neutral? And you're finding out that there was Allied ships laying in Stockholm harbor besides German freighters. And there was a lot of people getting stinking rich about this war. And you look at all the
on both sides. So in other words, some of the Allies.
I don't know if there's a both sides when it comes to that.
Okay.
I think capitalistic things have no side. They're not for right or wrong. They're just there to make money. And that became pretty clear. And then after the war, you know, as things progressed, you get older. I was drafted in the Dutch army like every Dutch boy. And you go in with the Allied forces in exercises there in the Ruhr district. And you see all those factories standing. And where people live was flat. The same with the big Krupp factory, the size of Burnaby, not a bomb on the thing, but Dresden is flat. And you start to think, geez, what the hell happened here? You know, this is not what I thought it was.
Okay, so you grew up with that almost like a disillusionment.
That's right. And a distrust of corporations, big time.
And that's from way before, a long time
Yeah,
ago, not just since Occupy or anything.
No, no, no.
Okay, so you dealt with that though in your own way.
Yeah, I did.
And let's talk about that, how you wanted to become involved as a citizen.
Well, I joined the peace movement at that time, the Carrie Davis, and I looked it up at UBC here. He was not very well known in this area because he was not popular in the States.
I've never heard of him. Who
No,
was that?
he was an American, and he threw out his citizenship papers, his passport, and he said the whole world, one place, one government, that way we won't have war anymore. Well, having lived through all that, that was like music in my ears, you know. And in a lot of Europeans. So in Europe it became pretty big, but I think eventually he ended up with a block of cement somewhere in the water, because he totally disappeared. Nobody heard of him. All of a sudden, kapoof, you know.
Wow.
So.
But in your life, through your art, you carried a message?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I always have, yeah.
So, okay, so I know you as a pretty positive guy.
Yeah, thank you.
So let's talk a little bit about how did you channel this almost aggression toward capitalism into something more positive? Or am I characterizing it right? Aggression toward capitalism?
Yeah, I don't really have no love for corporations, if that's what you mean. No,
Yeah.
I don't. I lost it. And, you know, it happened here too. I remember, for instance, we had a big protest meeting for the tankers going through the Strait of Georgia. And we had a big protest meeting at the Peace Arch.
Yeah, yeah.
And Shell gave the environmental movement $10 million. $1 million went to environmental stuff here and there, and $9 million went to say how good a corporation Shell was to give all that money and so on.
Right.
So, you know, it kept on building up as time progressed.
Okay. So you know, like anybody, we want to turn the page a little bit or something
Sure.
like that. How do we turn the page to make, like where you're now? You're not a negative guy.
No.
You're positive. How did you become positive? Or can you become positive?
Well, I think it's not a matter of positive or negative. I think it's a matter of giving up or not.
Right.
And I think no matter what, if you keep on working at it, then always hope that something will happen because of it, you know. And you can sit there and say, well, it all was for naught. I don't think so. A little bit of difference. Nothing happens with big things. Nothing happens quick. It's like a railway track. Once the train gets going, you can stop it on a dime. So to turn this whole thing around is a relatively long process in a way. I hope it speeds up for the sake of humanity.
Right.
You know,
but you are not. You're an optimist.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So so this doesn't. So for people out there who look at the world and say, I can't do anything, the world's going to hell in a handbasket, you're saying what?
Stick it.
Okay. You heard it here. Bert, thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. We'll be back. You'll be back again soon, right?
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for that, Nate. You know, I can relate to what Bert was saying about the winter blues. More than a few years ago, I used to really struggle in January and February just to get through those months. And when I kind of got into March and April and this time of year where the sun's shining more, the snow is melting, you start to just naturally feel a little bit better. But one of the things that has really helped me out getting through those kind of tough months in the winter has been curling. You know, and it's only one activity, but I actually look forward to winter, and I never thought I would say those words in my life because I don't like to be cold in any way, shape, or form. But it gives me something to look forward to in the winter, and it really, there've been, for the last couple of seasons, I've gotten into March and almost into April even, and thought like, wow, I got through January and February, and it really didn't have any problems. So I can relate to to what Bert was saying there. Great interview.
Yeah. Yeah,
So-
Bert's a great guy, and we'll have him on. He's our regular guest. I like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's good to have some regulars. So now we're going to have a quick look at what's happening in Quesnel on our community calendar.
Okay, we're back. Our photo of the day comes from our good friend Dave Sutton. He attended the annual Quesnel Health and Community Services Expo that was held last week, and it was held at the Quesnel Arts and Rec Center on March 31st. It drew many people wishing to learn more about a healthy lifestyle. So let's take a look at these pictures. Thank you, Dave, for sending them in.
He's always so thoughtful that way. Gets us pictures
Yeah.
right away so we can get them on the air. Relevant stuff. This just happened last weekend. So
And I was talking to one of our QMAG members, Susan McNeil, and I think we're going to start a little bit of a contest to have a photo of the month. And we'll give more details in the next little while, and maybe even get a sponsor and give a little prize out for a
that
photo of the
would be
month.
fun.
So we'll
Yeah.
let you know more in detail in the next few weeks.
Great. Awesome. Something to look forward to. So that's it for this show. You can contact us at our new email, which is qcatv.ca. You can give us any feedback on programs, or if you have anything that you would like us to cover here on Q Today, you can also be a sponsor or volunteer. So you can call Nate here, my good friend, at 992-3650, or you can call Shaw and leave a message for John McKenzie at 992-8363 as well.
Okay, remember that Q Today is, as we told you, is produced by QMAG, Quesnel Media Access Group. You can watch us on Channel 10, as we said, but you could also watch us on the internet, qcatv.ca, and that site is run by our good colleague and friend Eddie D'Souza. So even though I did bring two of these and to share with you, and you brought one to do one-upmanship on me,
Yeah.
I still think we're still on the same team here.
We're rocking the
That's right.
daffodil
Yeah,
pins.
that's right.
That's right.
Okay, so thanks for
So,
watching.
You bet. And remember, our purpose here on Q Today is to get Quesnel talking. Bye
Bye
for
for
now.
now.